Most people misunderstand this. They believe the moment a man gets close, everything suddenly becomes clear. They think passion always means purpose. They think desire automatically means depth. But that is not always true. Sometimes a man crosses that line because it feels easy, not because he is truly prepared. Sometimes he reaches for your body while still staying far from your heart. And if you do not understand that early, confusion can pull you into a story that was never meant to last. So pay close attention, because this may protect you from heartbreak, silence, and months of asking questions that his actions already answered. Stay with me, because what happens after the moment matters more than the moment itself. That is where the truth begins to speak clearly. That is where masks slowly fall away. And that is where you discover if he truly values you, or if he was only chasing a feeling he never planned to protect. If you have ever wondered why someone felt so close one night and so distant the next day, this is for you. And by the end, you will understand the difference between attention and intention in a way you may never forget. Many people think intimacy tells the entire story, but it does not. The real meaning depends on the man's intentions, his maturity, and the honesty in his character. Many women misunderstand what a man is truly showing when he becomes physically close, because the moment feels emotional, strong, and deeply personal. It can feel like proof. It can feel like a real connection. It can feel like something secure and meaningful. But a feeling is not always a fact. A man can move close to you physically and still be nowhere near ready to move toward you emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. That is where confusion begins. That is where mixed signals start to feel like love. And that is why you must watch what he shows you outside the emotional moments, not only what he shows you inside them. Some men use physical closeness as a starting point because it is the easiest road. It requires no real planning, no long-term direction, and no deep emotional honesty. In that space, many men can hide. They can hide insecurity. They can hide fear. They can hide selfish behavior. They can hide the fact that they enjoy access without wanting responsibility. And when that happens, the act itself may mean very little to him, even if it meant everything to you emotionally. Keep listening, because this is where many women start giving deep meaning to something that was never supported by character. A man can enjoy closeness without offering consistency. He can take comfort from your openness while giving very little back that feels safe, stable, or honest. Some men borrow trust. They step into a private space, enjoy the warmth of it, and then leave you carrying questions they never planned to answer. That is not depth. That is convenience. That is someone benefiting from your vulnerability without respecting the emotional weight attached to it. But a mature man thinks differently. He understands that intimacy is never separate from respect. He knows it affects emotions, trust, self-worth, and expectations. He understands that once he enters that space with you, he cannot pretend nothing matters afterward. A grown man understands that crossing a boundary carries emotional meaning. He understands the after effects. He knows your heart does not suddenly switch off just because the room becomes quiet. And if he truly values you, his care will continue after the excitement fades away. He will not treat tenderness like a game and disappear once the feeling settles down. He will not act warm in private and cold when real life begins again. He will understand that if he wants closeness, he must also bring honesty. Let that stay in your mind, not later now. Because the truth about a man is often revealed in what he does after he already got what he wanted. When the moment ends, everything becomes louder. His silence becomes louder. His effort becomes louder. His distance becomes louder. This is where his real mindset finally appears clearly. Does he check on you? Does he care about how you feel? Does he make you feel safe, respected, and emotionally seen? Or does he slowly disappear into himself the moment the emotional heat is gone? That is the part many people avoid looking at because they want the moment to mean more than his actions actually prove. But what he does afterward tells the truth. Some men are warm during the moment and cold after it. Some are passionate in private and distant in public. Some show interest when they want something, then become silent when you need clarity. That is not love. That is temporary comfort. That is somebody taking the easiest parts of connection while avoiding the responsibility real connection requires. You deserve better than confusion disguised as chemistry. You deserve better than constantly guessing where you stand. You deserve more than a man who reaches for your body but refuses to truly show up for your life. A real man will not leave you sitting in doubt. He will not let you keep wondering what you mean to him. He will make his intentions clear through steady actions, honest words, and a presence that does not disappear when the easy part ends. If you feel like you always have to decode him, that already tells you something important. A serious man does not hide behind passion. He communicates clearly. He follows through. He shows with his actions that you are more than a temporary escape. He wants to understand your mind, not only your mood. He wants to know your heart, not simply enjoy your attention. He respects you even when intimacy is not part of the moment. He proves commitment in simple ways, in how he listens, in how he handles your concerns, in how he responds when you ask direct questions, in how he supports you when life feels heavy, and in how he stands beside you when nothing exciting is happening. That is the real test, not the spark, not the late night words, not the way he looks at you during one emotional moment. Anyone can act sweet for a few minutes. Anyone can say the right thing when desire is leading the conversation. But what matters most is who he becomes on an ordinary day. Who is he when he has nothing to gain? Who is he when you need patience instead of passion? Who is he when there is no excitement to chase, no scene to perform, and no reward waiting at the end? Watch that version carefully. That version is usually the truth. And if you stay with this until the end, you will understand why consistency is one of the clearest forms of respect a woman can ever receive. Many women ignore the signs because the physical moment feels very strong. It feels close. It feels personal. It feels like it must mean something deep and real. You may think closeness means he truly cares. You may think attention means intention. You may think passion means the bond is genuine, but heartbreak often begins right there, in the space between what you felt and what he was truly ready to offer. That is why you cannot judge a man by emotional intensity alone. You must watch his character during normal moments. Watch how he speaks to you when there is no romance in the air. Watch how he handles your boundaries. Watch how he responds when you ask for clarity instead of comfort. Watch how he behaves when you disagree with him. Watch whether he brings peace into your life or pressure into your heart. Watch whether he adds stability to your life or keeps you anxious and uncertain. These small details reveal far more than any private moment ever will. A man's character is shown through repetition, through patterns, through how he keeps showing up or fails to. Real care has rhythm. It is not random. It is not seasonal. It is not only present when he wants access to you. A man who values you keeps the same energy over time. He does not appear only when it benefits him personally. He appears because he sees your value even when there is nothing immediate for him to gain. That difference can protect your peace if you are willing to believe behavior over fantasy. You have every right to expect responsibility. You have every right to protect your peace. And you have every right to choose a man who brings clarity instead of confusion. Value yourself enough to notice when his actions do not match the meaning you keep trying to give them. Value yourself enough to walk away from half-hearted effort. Value yourself enough to require honesty before closeness becomes deeper, because intimacy is not a shortcut to understanding somebody's heart. A man's behavior outside the emotional moment tells you far more about who he is and what he truly wants. Some men are taught directly or indirectly that physical closeness is a place where they can take without giving, enjoy without building, and receive connection without carrying responsibility. That mindset creates real emotional pain. It leaves women wondering what changed when, in reality, nothing ever changed. He was never offering what you believed he was offering. His real intentions appear after the excitement fades away. In the quiet moments afterward, the truth begins to rise clearly. Does he still look at you with care? Does he still speak with warmth? Does he treat you like someone valuable or like someone he simply spent time with? These are not small questions. These are the questions that can save months of emotional pain and confusion. Do not rush past them. Sit with them. Let them answer you honestly, even if the answer is not the one you hoped for in your heart. Some men chase physical closeness because it helps them avoid deeper emotional work and responsibility. It is easier for them to show desire than commitment. Easier to be physically open than emotionally honest. Easier to reach for your body than to truly learn your soul. That is why intimacy can never be your only measurement of a man's intentions. Desire can create the appearance of closeness. It can make a man seem more caring, more gentle, and more connected than he truly is. But the real test comes when he has nothing left to gain. When there is no thrill pushing him forward and no private moment carrying the conversation for him anymore. A man who is not serious usually becomes easy to read over time. He is present when he wants you and distant when you want answers. He is charming during the moment and avoidant when real conversations begin afterward. He keeps everything hidden, never allowing the bond to grow roots in normal everyday life. He enjoys the comfort of closeness, but offers no safety, no direction, and no real emotional support. He is not mysterious. He is simply convenient. He is interested in the parts of you that ask the least from him emotionally. And that truth becomes painful only when you keep trying to turn convenience into commitment. If this is touching your heart, stay with it. Because understanding this can completely change the way you move through relationships forever. It can make you stronger, calmer, and much harder to confuse emotionally. When a man truly respects you, his behavior changes in ways you can genuinely feel. He understands that intimacy without emotional responsibility is careless. He knows your trust deserves real protection. He understands your heart is not something to play games with. A real man will not enter your life, take what he wants, and disappear when emotional depth is needed. He will not hide behind attraction or temporary feelings. He will not leave you carrying all the emotional weight while he enjoys all the comfort and attention. Instead, he will show thoughtfulness, intention, and honesty through the way he moves in your life. The real difference between a man who values you and a man who only uses you is not what happens in one private moment. It is what happens when nothing physical is involved. Does he call you during ordinary days? Does he check on you because he truly cares, not because he wants something from you emotionally? A man's real character is revealed by how he treats you during difficult moments, not just emotional or romantic ones. Does he listen when you speak about your fears? Does he respect you even during disagreements? Does he protect your dignity when emotions become intense? A man who truly values you will not leave you constantly confused about where you stand. He will bring clarity, steady effort, and emotional consistency because he understands that real love is built through presence, honesty, and care. Many women stay attached to men who give just enough attention to keep hope alive, even while showing mixed signals and emotional distance. But a man who truly wants you will not repeatedly place you in situations where you question his intentions or your worth. Your value is not measured by temporary attention or desire. It is shown by the respect, honesty, and consistency someone gives you over time. Healthy love brings peace, emotional safety, and stability, not constant confusion or emotional chaos. A man who is ready for a real relationship will invest in your future, support you during difficult times, and treat the relationship like something meaningful to build. He will match his words with actions and show up consistently, not only when it benefits him. So do not settle for temporary moments or half-hearted effort. Pay attention to repeated patterns, not emotional excitement. Your heart and peace are too valuable to hand over to someone who handles them carelessly. Remember this, especially on the days when you feel tempted to romanticize what his actions have already made clear. Many people believe intimacy automatically means deep emotional feelings, but that belief often creates pain when it replaces wisdom and observation. A man can share close moments with you and still not be ready for the emotional responsibility that should follow. That is why you must pay attention to his behavior outside emotional moments. A man who is not serious will often become inconsistent. He will show strong interest when he wants attention, then become distant when honesty, commitment, or emotional maturity are needed. He may enjoy your warmth, affection, and presence, but still avoid building anything real or lasting. His patterns will always reveal more than his words. Desire can imitate love for a short time, but real intentions appear in everyday behavior, consistency, communication, and emotional responsibility. A mature man understands that closeness involves trust, vulnerability, and care. He does not disappear after emotional moments or leave you trapped in confusion. Instead, he stays consistent, communicates clearly, respects your boundaries, and brings peace instead of emotional chaos. He understands that your heart is not something to handle carelessly. That is why you should stop judging a man by one emotional moment and start judging him by the quality of his actions over time. Real love is shown through steady effort, honesty, reliability, and emotional presence. If a man truly values you, you will not have to chase him for clarity or constantly question where you stand. His actions will match his words, and his consistency will make you feel secure instead of anxious. Protect your peace, your standards, and your self-respect. A man who cannot offer honesty, clarity, and consistency does not deserve your vulnerability or your trust. In the end, the truth about a person is never revealed only through emotional moments or temporary closeness. Real intentions are shown through consistency, honesty, respect, and the way someone continues to show up when life becomes ordinary again. Anyone can create strong feelings for a short time, but not everyone is willing to bring the care, effort, and maturity needed to build something meaningful and lasting. That is why you should never ignore patterns just because a moment felt powerful. Pay attention to actions, not only emotions. Pay attention to peace, not confusion. And pay attention to whether someone adds stability and honesty to your life or leaves you questioning your value. You deserve a connection built on trust, clarity, and genuine respect. You deserve someone who communicates openly, keeps their word, and treats your heart with care in both private and everyday moments. Never lower your standards just to keep temporary attention. Protect your peace, trust your instincts, and remember that healthy love should feel steady, safe, and sincere. The right person will not leave you constantly guessing where you stand. They will show their intentions clearly through their actions, their consistency, and the way they continue choosing you over time.